think they're all pretty solid this week.
Whoa, hi guys, it's us. We're live. I gotta switch these names because Michael is rude.
What are you? Are you? Am I? It's gonna be like the one time. Okay, no. This is the one time I didn't have a different opinion from the general with the life
Wow,
lessons
we all had
dungeon.
different Sunny Boys this week.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
And mine isn't the. And I honestly thought I was gonna have it the lowest out of the group, but
Me and Michael don't share the brain cell this week. It's sad.
Yeah, it's the we liked remake brain cell.
I liked Remake as well. I just thought overall the other three shows I put above it were better this week than Remake.
It's very weird.
I'm excited to
It's
talk
just a
about
weird
it.
week because there's a lot of like talking and setup in a lot of the shows this week, except for Vanitas, which is balls to the
Let's-
wall, Vanitas as usual.
Well, before we do that, hi everybody. I'm Sean.
Hi.
I'm
Hi, Sean.
I'm partially ill, which thankfully I'm not the one doing most of the talking anymore, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, we killed it.
Welcome to this week's episode 7 of the Saber Slay Anime Afraid podcast. There will be spoilers. There will be harsh language. That's about it. Yeah. Things I've done this week. Keeping Up with Spirit Chronicles. It's very good. I like it. I haven't really watched much else from this season besides what I am watching. Podcast update. Spoilers for tomorrow night's episodes. Battle Game's really nice directed scene is followed by a okay, sure episode, which is not surprised. They bring back in the CGI mummies and they don't look great.
Wait, what?
Bring back
from the first episode,
no.
the Resident Evil dude.
Okay.
They just mass produce them in different colors.
Many.
They acknowledge that it's the same thing, that they don't try to pass off something new.
Yeah, I like Resident Evil.
Yeah. They do some real dumb stuff with some powers, that's for sure. That's really the only thing that Joe's got going for it.
I can't wait for him to explain his power to someone, and then he just abuses some bullshit where they just think about something they want his power to be, and then
he is actually doing that in the newest episode. He tells Super Strong Girl that he tells her that, well, one, he's like, actually my power is not the canon, it's telepathy. And they communicate telepathically, and he's like, by the way, I'm also lying. This is my actual power. But I want you to keep thinking my power is telepathy so we can test something. So then he swaps between using telepathy and using the canon because everyone else around him thinks it's the canon and she thinks it's telepathy. It's neat. I know we're gonna get into a 25-minute debate about whether or not he should be able to do that with the wording of his ability, but
isn't this supposed to be his opponent?
Correct. But he
just hates him.
The show's instead taking the route of whoever he's engaged with at the moment. So like, I don't know. I don't want to dwell on that too much. I don't have to watch any Girlfriend. It's very nice. I am gonna have to watch the new episode 7, I think, of Detectives Already Dead. Whatever episode we didn't watch, maybe it's 6. I don't remember. I think it might be 6.
It's 6.
I will let you know. Sure. I'll let you know how it is. I just know from other people's power rankings I've already gotten, their opinions haven't changed, so that'll be fun.
I don't know what their opinions were.
It's bad.
It's good to see. Okay. Good to know.
They shared the same opinions we did. I am really still enjoying Duke of Death, though it hasn't like it's odd. The moment it stopped doing entirely romance comedy slice of life stuff and it started doing like a supernatural plot, it's losing me a little. Not because like the supernatural plot's bad, but because they were doing so good with the slice of life romance comedy. I'm like, no, I kind of just go back, bring it back.
Go back to that. Go back to that. That was good.
From what I understand, she is just like best girl of the season.
Yeah, it's very good. I really do enjoy that show.
Like that's the general consensus online, is that she is best girl of the season.
Moonlit's being Moonlit. It's an isekai. It has an okay week. It isn't doing anything like spectacular right now, and I don't really care for the way it's portraying its supporting cast, so it's gonna be a little lower on my list. Which just means Realist is gonna be even higher because this is the week for Realist where they introduce Kaede. Is that her name? Is that Fox Girl's name?
Oh, yeah. Helen Kaede.
Yeah, they come in. It's that episode, so I'm gonna really enjoy gushing over it again. I watched the first 3 episodes. I think we stopped on episode 5 of Warren High School Host Club with my girlfriend and my cousin in the room.
Yes.
She
I was in there
likes
for a few of them.
Yes.
she really
Me and
likes
John
it.
have both watched it.
I
It's
haven't
just
watched
to
it in
rewatch.
years.
Same.
It's
Um,
so
I haven't
good.
watched it since like
it.
2014.
It holds up. It holds up.
She really likes it. It's good. It reminds me that time period really was just hot guy
8
with
voice actors that did everything.
well, yes, but also hot guy with blonde hair is not
Those hot guy
likable
with blonde hair thing.
likable character until he is likable character because the show decides he has to be.
Yep.
It like that made Sama
Yeah.
like so many of the romance in that
It
time.
it
was
is really
just
funny
that.
hearing Vic Mignogna.
I would rather I didn't have to. But
Yeah.
here I am. No, but
Fun fact.
we really enjoy it. It actually isn't for a show with its premise. You would think it would fall into a lot of like bad, dangerous, tropey scenes.
Tropes.
The first 4 episodes are pretty good. They're not bad. I don't think anything's really too like makes me go, oh wow, oof. That was 2000s,
Oof,
whatever.
ouch me bones.
That was in
But
2006
no,
or whatever.
it seems a lot better in that regard. Yeah, there's a lot of things that looking back on, I'm like, wow, this is really nice. OP and ED fucking slap, very
Yep.
good. And then we watched some non-anime stuff. So, I am all caught up, and I'm going to be insanely upset that I can't watch any more of Owl House. Owl House is wonderful.
In the middle of your street.
Owl House is
you.
a great
Oh,
Disney.
is that the Disney one?
It is a
Yeah.
wonderful Disney show. If I'm correct, by the part of the team who wrote Gravity Falls stuff.
Yep.
I've said this a couple of times to some people who I've talked to about it, and I might have mentioned it last time I brought it up on the podcast. I wish I had this show growing up as a kid. I would have loved it. It does everything I would have want from it. It incorporates same sex relationships with no need to like the characters don't need to dive into their
You have to be like,
sexuality, so the show
we're
does it.
gay.
It's natural. Like
It's-
it's so natural how well
But
they
I
write
need to
it.
like press it.
From what I've heard, it is, for one, it's the first like full on canon. These are 2 lesbian character. Well,
Yeah.
one's a lesbian, one's
They're
bisexual.
gay. They know it. Move on.
But yeah, legitimately, that's what it is from what I've heard.
Season 1 builds it up really well. Season 2 just kind of hits it home. It's very good. It gets me emotional at times when I don't expect it to get me emotional. The characters are great. The fantasy setting's wonderful. One of like the main premises is like how they use spells in the world, and the idea is that they're a bunch of witches, and the emperor designates that they all have to learn when they go to school to learn more spells. They all have to pick a track and then learn that track of magic. The whole point is that the main character's teacher has never picked a track and is a wanted criminal because of it, and a couple of other reasons. So the main character also doesn't want to pick a track. And it's really cool what she gets away with in terms of learning magic, but since she's human and not like a witch and or demon, she has to do magic differently, so everyone else just kind of casts from wands, like pulls from like their own source of magic. She draws glyphs. So like it's really cool because she is basically they have this system of magic in place and she's drawing from like the origins of it, so it lets the show explain how the magic system works through her as she learns it. So like she has 4 basic glyphs, and then those 4 glyphs when combined do different things. And that's how you get all the magic in their world. And it's really cool. It's really fascinating. The show's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's on Disney Plus.
Speaking of getting emotional,
well,
Mason.
before that,
Man, I really love Invoker from Dota 2.
before that,
Mhm.
the other thing I watched, because I literally just watched it today, we had it on. I watched through the What If stuff for Marvel. It's
I
good.
need to
I
do
like
that.
them.
It's really good.
by
The newest
far-
one was probably my
by
second favorite.
I don't really dislike any of them. I think the Avengers one is like the most boring to me.
Or which one?
The one where the Avengers are killed off before it's episode 3, I think. When it's before they
Oh.
assemble, they kill them off, and like I don't think the twist is. It's pretty obvious as the show goes what it is, which is nice, but it's not the most engaging one. I really don't. I know some people have given the Captain Carter episode flack. I like it. I think it's well done. I really enjoy the Star Lord, the Chikala as Star Lord episode, and then the Doctor Strange episode's incredible.
Yeah, it's
Doctor
really
Strange as a
good.
character is incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that episode, I'm honestly, I don't even know. I get the feeling that that might not exist in comic form. And if it doesn't, props on them for writing it. If it does somewhere, I kind of want to read that because I imagine
It's really good.
it's so good. It's really cool. So like the premise of the Doctor Strange one, because they pitch it this way, is instead of like losing his hands in the accident, he loses his love interest. Cause I think they're just dating at that time. I don't think
I
they're.
think so.
And the whole idea is that like Strange goes in to learn the mystic arts to bring her back, and that her death then becomes a focal point that's unchanging. So he has to like go above and beyond to get the power to try to change that point, and doing it will destroy the world. And it's a very emotional roller coaster of a
Life
ride.
is Strange. Is that you?
Basically.
Yeah, it's a really good one. That's what I've been doing.
So, fun fact: I've never seen Doctor Strange or any of the Doctor Strange related movies.
I saw.
I really
gotta
want to.
watch
saw
the movie. It's
first,
so
I saw the
good.
Yeah, they're
first
good.
half
Really good.
of Doctor
Yeah,
Strange.
they're good.
And when I watched it, was doing since I don't drink, we were doing a soda drinking game where every time they said or did something magical, we would take a drink, and by the time we were like 30 minutes, 45 minutes in, I was the only one still doing it because everyone else realized they were gonna die, and drinking that much soda made me sick. So I wound up falling
Yes.
asleep halfway through. I'm no coward. I didn't back down.
Hmm.
Yeah.
God, that's like playing the cops drinking game. Don't ever do that.
What have you guys been up to?
What do we do?
You guys cried.
I made Mason and our friend Spoon finish Violet Evergarden finally, and we stopped last time right around episode 6. Now episode 6 is about right before we get Violet's backstory, like an episode before. And I said at the start of the show, once we get past episode 5, I think, or 6, I don't remember which one, that is when I started losing my shit and breaking down and crying almost every episode.
That was about what I told Michael. when
And
we
Mason,
watched
you can
it.
talk about your opinion a
Yeah.
bit too.
So, when we were watching it before, because we had watched like all 6 episodes in one sitting, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, this is fine, I guess, but it's not like
It's not
it's
10.
like it's not a 10. Like this is not the end all be all of like emotional storytelling. Oh, how I was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the second you
I-
get to her backstory is when it starts hitting, and then we got to episode 10, which is probably the best episode in this show. And we're not going to talk explicitly about it. Go watch the show. That's all I have to say about
Former
it. But
podcast winner, Violet Evergarden. Wonderful.
but that is episode 10 is where she visits a little girl and her mom and writes letters with her
So,
mom and spend
watching
times with the girl.
watching that episode again hurts.
Oh my
so
god, dude.
much.
It hurts so much
I
worse.
think
It hurts so
more.
much worse. Oh my god. I'm sitting there, and every time something happens, I'm sitting there like,
It's
Oh
really
my
hard
God.
to watch that with someone and like have to keep your mouth shut about how much you're in pain
I was like,
until
"She's
like
right."
you get the end
'Cause,
of
like,
it.
Because like the whole time, you know what's up with the mom. Like it's super obvious, right? But you don't know what's up with the letters. And that's all I have to say. But yeah, that show is one of the only, I think the only anime, like one season anime that might ever be a 10 for me. Like it has flaws, but the emotional impact of every episode in that show is so fucking gut-wrenchingly high that like I I don't think any piece of media has ever made me cry harder than Violet Evergarden has. Not once, but twice. Yeah, Mason, how'd you think of it? I think it was pretty good, right?
It was a 10. It was an absolute 10. Also, because of watching that, it made me retroactively change my rating for the Bunny Girl movie. Because I went and thought, man, this show made me cry like for the last half of it. You know what also made me do that? The Bunny Girl movie. Guess that's got to be a 10 now.
We gotta rewatch that at some point with
I've rewatched it twice now. I watched that movie 3 times, and every single
we
time
watched it twice. Did we watch it with Spoon? I don't think we did we?
Yeah.
we have not watched it.
You're gonna watch
watch
it
it
a
with someone
third
else.
time with me when we.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we
We are
eventually get together.
watching that together.
Yeah,
Not,
also-
not tonight. As soon as I'm
No,
feeling better,
obviously.
though.
No.
I'm down.
Outside of that, I've been working, getting ready for school to start, playing the show, playing League of Legends, reading, caught up with Realist Hero, and I want to read more of Realist Hero because Realist Hero is very good and it's very well written. I feel like that type of a show benefits so much more from being written down because there's so much more details they can explain and talk about that you don't get with the certain characters, like Serena being a giga sadist, which we kind of know. That's the maid, by the way, but you guys don't even know. They explicitly write she likes to bully pretty girls. No, I don't mean bully. I mean bully. That's what it says. Like not paraphrasing in the text. Buwwy. She bullies them. It is French
No.
kiss. Wonderful. I like it. It's really entertaining, and characters are still great. Show's still good. Do recommend. But outside of that, yeah, I don't think I've been doing too much games wise. Yeah, I can't think of anything specific. How about you guys?
So we finished Violet Evergarden. I cried like a bitch.
Mhm.
I'll
You
be
do.
honest.
That's the reason everyone in the server has the Cries to Violet Evergarden roll.
Yeah.
If you need that, let me
Um,
know. I'll give it to you.
I don't think I have it, so yeah. I also finished Haikyuu season
Already got it.
2.
Let's go.
I'm really sad
That's
that only 2 seasons are on Netflix.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was a
I don't
really.
know if the rest of it's dubbed.
Are you watching it
Damn.
dubbed?
I was watching it dubbed. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think the rest of it's dubbed yet.
it's not that big of a deal. I will still
Especially
watch
not
it dubbed.
like if you want to watch Land vs. Air. That's a really good OVA. with
I
Haruhi.
haven't even watched that yet.
Where does Land vs. Air take place? Like,
It's
After Shiratori's Zara, right?
yeah, no, it's
So-
it's at the same time because it's a different.
It's the third place
prefecture.
match.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a different prefecture for nationals. That's right.
Yes, but the idea is that both of them are making it in no matter what. They're the first and second slot, and it's just kind of a joke game.
It's a
It's-
game for
it's-
just dominance.
Yeah, it's Nekoma versus Bokuto's team, I believe.
Oh, Fukurodani.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a
No, he's
fucking
right. That's the right one.
It's a fucking wonderful OVA because the
Okay.
personalities on those two teams are spectacular.
And polar
Okay,
opposites at the
Is-
same time.
Legitimately, my favorite characters in that show are from Nekoma and
Yeah.
specifically Bokuto.
I
Yes.
love
really,
Bokuto.
really.
There's a reason Land vs. Air is a really good OVA.
If you don't like our boy, what's his name?
Hey.
Emma.
Kenma
Look,
and
yeah,
and
Kenma.
Bokuto. Like, get out of here.
I really like Tsukishima. And
So
I
if you watch Land vs. Air,
Okay.
you'll become a Lev simp. It's magical.
True.
So I hated Tsukushima
yes,
up until halfway through season 2.
yes.
That's
and then
the
I'm
point.
like, okay, he's fine.
I he gets his moment in the training arc, and I don't know what it is with his character, but like the moment they give it to him, I'm like, no, now things make sense. I'm comfortable with it. I enjoy him, and then I think the show only lets him grow. So that's what I'll say.
I just there was only one thing that I was a little like miffed about in season 2, and it was the entire bit with I can't remember his fucking name.
Is it
He's a
Tsukishima's
sec-
friend?
No, Tadashi I love.
Tadashi's
Protect that
wonderful.
boy.
Protect that boy.
Um,
Correct.
no, I'm talking about when the shit happens with Daichi and they bring in the second year that
yeah.
they're like, where they make him out to be like the next captain and we have never fucking heard his name
Mhm.
until now.
Yeah.
That one bothered me.
Oh, you're gonna love To the Top when one of those other second years who we don't get to hear becomes another server.
character that
for
talks a
no
lot.
Damn reason.
Yeah,
I
another
don't-
super important character for
I
some
don't
reason.
dislike him, but yeah, they do this again. Which like if this show and manga was gonna go into a post like the seniors leaving, I would love it. But from my understanding, the manga ends at the end of this setup, like
Yeah.
the end of their journey. Like they don't do it the year after.
Next
So,
year.
like,
They don't.
Yeah,
They're like
much-
Kuroko no
much
Basket,
like
where like they do
Kuroko.
another year.
It's funny because Kuroko sets up a second year, but at the same time, it's not possible for them to do a second year because there's nothing
It wouldn't make
to
sense.
do.
Okay,
There's
they're gonna face the
literally zero
same
places
school.
to grow, especially.
I mean,
post
they would
last
probably
gen.
just get their asses beat by what's his name, like Freestyle Boy.
Yeah.
No,
Literally every character
or
has reached the
Blondie.
final
Like,
form by
because
the
it's
end
like
of last
no,
gen.
they haven't. Because Blondie's actually Giga Smurf. He just needs more like endurance.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
'cause
he's
he can
literally
only use
Giga Smurfing on
copycat.
every. No,
He's
but it would
literally
literally
that.
just be him walking into every fight and just going
Yeah,
to every
no.
game. and
Blondie
being
is literally
tech
super
W.
broken. Like Blondie and Blue Hair are the most broken characters in the game. Like, and you
Kagami
like,
Jump High.
You mean green-haired guy that can shoot 3-pointers from across the screen isn't as broken? No, he's really not, because blonde-haired can do anything you can do better. No matter what it is, including getting into the zone. It's so
The only one
fucking
who can
dumb.
beat meat is meat.
Yep.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
Mason,
blonde
let
hair
me
gets a really
know when
fun
you start
power boost.
watching Shiratorizawa because I always am down to watch
More
It's
IQ.
probably gonna
Shiratorizawa.
be this week, to be honest.
Oh.
I'll ping you though.
Let's
Please
go.
Yeah.
My
and
schedule's
then
actually pretty nice besides like Tuesday nights, so
it won't be Monday, I can tell you that, unless it's late. But like, I'm probably going to finish out what's animated of Haikyuu and then start Shippuden.
I'm also I would also be down to just watch Chunks Shippuden with you because I am a sucker for Shippuden.
It's a good
I
time.
just so like my thing is like unless it's a very specific circumstance where like basically my room gets really hot because I have no airflow through here. That's the only reason why I really started watching IQ. But like
But it's
I
good.
don't like watching anime alone, so
Yeah.
I'm always down for this. Because otherwise I don't have like someone telling me like someone there to keep me invested in it.
Yeah.
But
what else have you been doing?
went on a date today. I went to the zoo.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh.
sent Dodge a bunch of pictures of penguins because he fucking loves penguins.
Let's go.
I
Why
got
didn't
to
I get any
feed-
fucking pictures of penguins? God damn.
Because you don't send
Once-
for Mason as hard as I do. Moving
True.
on.
Y'all want some pictures of penguins, meerkats, and red panda?
Yes.
Because I'll send those after the podcast.
Wonderful.
I love Panda. He's great. And
Dude,
his
we talked
appearance
about
in-
Marvel movies, and it made me remember I made this tier list at one point.
Oh,
I don't know how my opinions have changed on this after a bit. I don't know.
Is that Far From Home?
Yeah, Far From Home is top.
Okay.
This was right after I watched first, like very recently after watching Far From Home, and I really
haven't
liked
seen
that
that.
movie.
Have you not seen the original
I-
Ant-Man?
Nope.
Nope.
But I've seen
Watch
Ant-Man
the
the Wasp.
original Ant-Man. God damn it, Michael.
God, the original Ant-Man's so good.
Exactly
need to
why I
watch
say
it.
watch the original Ant-Man. I really like that
Okay.
movie.
It probably
So
would
I
also help Wasp if I had watched the original.
Is that
So-
Iron Man 2 the one we don't talk about down in C tier?
So what I recommend you do is you make 3 more tiers in between D and haven't seen, and then move Thor: The Dark World down further
True.
past that.
I should also make like an A plus, A minus to split up that monstrosity.
Make a triple
I mean,
S, a
Marvel
blue,
make,
a
Marvel make
Bluno,
good movies. I don't have a problem with that.
make a triple S, a Bluno tier, and then quadruple S tier, and then put
Yeah.
Bluno in that quadruple S tier.
Yes. So
God, I
Michael's-
love that tier list so much.
Michael started something with me.
yeah,
This
that
past
I'm gonna get to
week.
that at the end.
Okay.
I'm gonna get through the other things first. I mean, I haven't done much other than that. I mean, I think I watched like an episode of Aquatope and then just kind of didn't because I wanted to wait for more of that show to happen. So I'm gonna sit down and exist.
I read.
Um,
yeah.
Oh, I forgot one thing. You can continue though.
Yeah,
I'll bring it
I
back.
played a
Oh.
little bit more Awakening. I'm like 6 chapters in.
He got the A support for Robin Crom.
Yeah, I also have the A support from Varian Sully.
Go.
Very good times for both
It's
of them.
so good.
The Crom Robin supports are wonderful. Yeah, that was a fun time, especially me having to restart a map because Long Q got hit by 3 exits in a row that already 40% chance of hitting or less.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Have you had?
Because I was like, oh, I don't want to use up Killing Edge. I'll just use up the Iron
Oh.
Sword he has.
My God.
Because I don't want to lose more Killing Edge things.
Have you
and, yep.
have you had the 1% crit hit you yet?
No.
It will come.
Yeah.
It'll
I haven't
come.
played
Yep.
enough for it to happen. Yeah.
And at the end of a battle, when you think it's all wrapped up and you get sloppy for
Yep.
one move.
And
then they
earlier
kill, like,
today, yeah,
Lucina.
over the past week, I've been playing some Destiny 2, some more of that. And earlier today, I finally did my first raid in the game. It's called Deepstone Crypt. It contains one of my favorite songs in all of gaming history, called Deepstone Lullaby. It is wonderful. Would highly recommend. Bungie's really good at making music, as
Not really good at
people know
making
from the
games
Halo
anymore, though.
games.
Ugh.
I have something after you're done. You reminded me of something.
I mean, and then the thing Sean wanted me to mention, I'm keeping till the end, so
Now,
me and Sean can die over this.
This might be a spoiler. This might be a spoiler zone, but we're not spoiling this because
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. but
'Cause we
we're-
want you
won't
guys to
s-
play
we
this
won't spoil
game.
the thing because this
Um,
is like one thing I think should never. I think everyone needs to experience.
Duncan
it.
Rumpus. I
I
see.
started Danganronpa V3 and I'm through
I-
case 1.
I've heard about this.
Not I didn't expect a game to add a song to my anything in all honesty, to add a song to my this is my playlist of songs that that will make me almost cry if I hear them. After 5 hours into a game.
Day.
And it's not as I don't want to explain anything about
It's
it.
so difficult. We went into before we went into V3. I explained to Michael that my favorite case is in V3, and the only other thing Michael knew about that was that I talk a lot about a certain case in the game, the Seesaw case, and just those were the only bits of knowledge Michael has. But let me say, Michael says a lot of dumb things to me when he plays video games, and I have to keep a straight face, my mouth shut up for a long time about a lot of shit when Michael says something really dumb and is right. And Michael
It's the worst
called,
when I make really dumb calls.
Michael's
and I
called some
call-
shit all the way back when we were playing DR2, and it was very bad. I had to Michael. He looked at me after we finished case 1. He's like, Sean, how did you fucking keep quiet so long? And I'm like, it's difficult. It's very difficult.
See, I do the opposite. I have the exact same reaction no matter what they say. That is like the biggest shit-eating Rin comment you could have, which pisses Mason and Spoon off so much because they never know if I'm telling the truth and they're right or it's not even fucking close. Like,
That's really
Playing
good.
any sort of social
Uh-huh.
deduction game with Dodge is the worst fucking thing on the planet.
I am the chaos incarnate in social deduction games.
So awful.
But like,
Yo, look at the
but
fucking
like,
Wilkes
but like,
Pub.
I'm actually so good at being imposter though. It's actually insane. Like, I'm pretty sure when I played Among Us, I was like 90% imposter win rate. Like, it was
Like,
insane.
again.
But
No, you don't.
Michael was experienced something that will probably stick with him forever now. And now we've unlocked a casino, so he's been casino grinding.
Huzzah.
Yeah,
He's just been running
Um,
slots for
to
hours.
get the funny cosmetics.
So what you're telling me is that once I eventually start DR2, I'm streaming it to a server for you guys.
When you play
Yes.
DR2, we have a friend who thinks DR2 is the worst game in the series, right? That's his take.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
wrong.
I can my only
What?
it's
Can you point
it's
me
a
to him?
strange take.
Can you
because
point me to him? I
think
just
that-
want
I
to talk.
think DR2 is just a better game than DR1.
I can't tell you.
I think
the
purely on a
franchise-
character rating standpoint, it is a better
Okay.
game than
Yeah,
DR1.
but just a
I
thought.
think-
Can you point us to this individual? We just want to
So-
talk. We just want to
so-
talk.
This is
I-
also the same person who thinks the best 3D Sonic game is Sonic and the Secret Rings.
So I have
It's a
played
take.
through DR1 twice and watched the anime.
Good. Good.
The only reason why I like the anime overall, I think is better if it would be better if it included all like if it somehow included the like character interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's
like
just really
as a
hard.
game, holy fuck, it is not that
Uh,
good.
I've
When
never
It
played
has
Alan-
any
a
of them.
lot of. I think there's a lot of good things DR1 does, but I think a lot of the characters are kind of tropey.
Its cases
Which
also
they
aren't
start
very
fixing.
good, in my opinion. I think
Yeah,
like
I
its
think it has
best-
some really good bits with its cases.
Yeah.
But-
But I think all of it's amplified in 2 and V3. I do give the warning that Kodaka, the guy behind the series, this is
Got
like
very horny when he started writing V3.
well, it started in Ultra Despair Girls, but really,
Well,
it,
yeah.
it arguably peaks in V3, and we're only a chapter in, and Michael can attest to this. I will say there is nothing better than getting to the fully voiced trials in V3 because everything that comes out of that cast's mouth is wonderful. There is a point where one of the characters flat out looks the other one and just says and calls them, and I quote, a little abortion. And those two characters, when they interact with anyone, the game's amazing. Also, as Michael knows, and Michael was very excited, there was a robot character in V3.
My boy
And
Kibo.
his interactions are very good. The main character Kaede flat out compares him to a Roomba at one point.
It's the very
And he
fun
has my
bit.
favorite lines, which are stuff like, Actually, I am more efficient than a Roomba. I can clean more than a Roomba can. Thank you very much.
See, actually, that's very robophobic of you. I don't approve of what you are saying,
Robophobic.
Kokichi.
Yeah, no, but I love the series. I think it definitely. I don't think they're like perfect games. I think they're flawed. But like I think it's just like the Phoenix Wright games, where like experiencing them blind and watching other people experience them blind is a wonderful experience.
Yeah. So on a completely different note, let's go to treating you guys different. It was
Kagi.
NTR week. Oh, sorry, I lagged there. Am I good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on a completely different side note that has nothing to do with what you guys just talked about, it was NTR week in Kaguya's manga.
Oh?
And by that I mean both the main show chapter and the we want to talk about Kaguya spinoff. I'll just put it this way: the title for the episode or the chapter this week in the spinoff was "We want to talk about NTR." It was very good. Kaguya is very good. Please read Kaguya; it's really good.
What is it with things
Um,
this season and NTR?
That's what I was saying. The thing that I remembered, two things. For one, I'm currently in Tales of Arise waiting room because that comes out, I think, this Friday, and I'm so
Holy
excited.
shit.
Holy shit.
Also,
money.
so
One Piece episode 990 is out. Holy shit.
So I play Final Fantasy 14, and I am very far in that game. And there's a thing at the end of each expansion where it's a relic weapon, and it's like the best weapon in the game at that point. And they're like super cool. They have a bunch of like effects on them, and they're also really good weapons. The thing about them is you essentially have to build them piece by piece. So each one has a quest, and I'm currently on one where it says basically you have to get 18 of 2 different items. The way you get these is either by doing alliance raids, which are 24-man raids, or raids that no one ever fucking does anymore, or going through fates, which are small little like skirmishes of like kill like these specific enemies a bunch in this small area, or kill this boss enemy in this small area. And they'll show up on the map, whatever. So I was doing fates. I have been on this quest for 2 months now, and only just found out I was in the wrong fucking area.
Oh no.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, when I found that out, I quite literally screamed.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. In one day, I got all 18 of the first item and 6 of the second one. So at least we're almost done with that.
Let's go.
But
Imagine the
oh, I'm
time.
so pissed.
Well, speaking of time, I think it's time to talk about what almost across the board consensus is the best show this week. Mason, talk to us about Vanitas.
Yeah.
We're getting
So,
consensus. That show them.
so Vanitas was really solid this week. The combat in this show always looks stellar, and we got a good amount of that this week. Our paladin boy Roland found out from Noe accidentally saying Vanitas' name while he was flash grenaded that Vanitas is Vanitas, and
Vanitas is Vanitas.
ended up coming to the conclusion that Vanitas had Stockholm syndrome. Apparently, that's at least what I came. That's what it seemed like to me. He's also fucking jacked. Like, dude is jacked as he is cracked.
Yo, props to Noi.
Yeah, Noe managed to hold his own against this guy while being fucked up.
Until
Yeah,
he went full fucking Renji on him.
Again,
Yeah,
Darth
okay,
Maul
I'm glad you
Silas, electric
pointed
power
that.
guy.
Renji's my
I'm
favorite
glad you said
character
that.
from Bleach, and I haven't gotten past Soul Society, and I don't want to because I just enjoy Renji, and I don't want the show to make me not like him.
Okay, no, Reggie actually just gets better throughout
Good.
the show.
I might go take a rewatch of
Don't.
Bleach sometime. Okay, good.
Don't.
Okay, so like, if we're quick side note about Bleach because we got onto this. Bleach is consistently the first arc, the Soul Society arc, and then the Soul Society arc, and then the Soul Society arc, and then the Soul Society arc, over and over and over again. That's all fucking tight Kubo knows how to do. And
He does it well.
eh,
He did it well. He did it well once.
he did it well once, and then you
And
get
then
to
gave the character some fancy drip.
and then you get to Wake Mundo, and it's like, okay, but like it's when you get to Wake Mundo when you realize that literally every single fight is just pulling something out of the main character who's fighting his ass,
Yeah.
and pulling out a new power, and then they beat the guy at the last second, and then they fall over and they're asleep for like 2 days.
Fairy Tale, that you?
Rinse and repeat for 300 goddamn episodes.
Fairy Tale.
However,
Anyways, Vanitas. Sorry.
It's my fault.
He had a very. It's. I was going to talk about it too. You got to it first. So he had a sick weapon. It reminds Sean and I of Renji Ibarai's Zanpakuto from Bleach. It also is electrified for some reason. There. It ended up getting to the point where Vanitas gets pissed that the church people will use every excuse in the book to fit their own narrative, which not going to say anything about that.
Whoa, why does this show have a fantasy tag? Oh wait, it's also historical. We're fine.
Yeah. So we also got it was kind of a bit part, but
Sean.
it was like a quick bit piece of dialogue, but we kind of learned how vampires do their powers. Essentially their eyes function as a way to rewrite the world formula. And Vanitas is able to do that because his book has a stone that is also in pretty much all vampires. Also we got Dr. Eggman, who was a guy who experimented on Vanitas when he was a child. Vanitas was originally a recruit for the Paladins or the Chasseurs, and then Dr. Moreau, which is his actual name, not Dr. Eggman, got to him first.
I disagree. I think it's Dr. Eggman.
And then we get Noe going fucking crazy, and I was here for it. Because Noe went absolutely goddamn nuts, took Vanitas as a hostage, and then yeeted him into Roland, and then kicked the shit out of Roland, and managed to convince him to just listen for a second.
Hey, but don't worry, it wasn't hard enough to break any bones.
Yeah. Which followed by my favorite line in the entire episode, which was Roland going, "Oh, why didn't you just explain that why you were here in the first place?" Followed by Vanitas and Noe just screaming.
Ah!
I also really enjoy the Noe introducing himself, while still holding him, and he just looks at him and goes, "What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What are you? You're not a vampire. Vampires don't do this."
They just murder us. It's so good.
Also,
Vanitas
Vanitas
was
was number 69.
Yep.
Oh my god, we're fucking watching the scene, and he has the button, he flips over, it's like number 128. I used to be, or Vinny, he like talks in like third person or something weird, where he's like, wow, he talks like it was in the past. I'm like, I paused the video and went, hey Mason, Vanitas can be number 69, because Vanitas. And then we get to the end of the episode, and he's like, welcome,
said the
my
same
precious
thing.
number
We
69.
watched
And I'm
this
like,
I think me and
episode-
Sean both said the same
We
thing.
watched this
or-
on Hulu. And
I don't remember which of us said it
We watched
first.
it on Hulu, and the next episode's title is number 69.
why is it not the screenshot? I'm pissed.
We'll have plenty
What
of
is a
moments
screenshot? I
next
need to
week
look.
for it. It's the "What is wrong with you" screenshot.
Oh yeah, I know, I did see that.
But no, Michael and I saw that next episode was number 69. We saw the number pen, and we both basically went, so Vanitas, right? Cool. Haha,
Yeah,
funny.
it goes to
Vanitas is
Vanitas.
sixth number.
I like the show knows exactly what the fuck
Yeah.
it's doing with that, and I respect
it's-
it.
it's
But
the
fuck
funny
you,
number.
show. Fuck you. It's not funny.
know.
It's stupid. I love
I
it.
really enjoyed this episode of this week. I really like a lot of the stuff we got with Noe. I don't particularly love anything that we got with Vanitas and Dr. Ivo Robotnik, but I think Dr.
Robotnik.
Dr. Rowe, whatever the fuck his name was, is kind of just
Botnik.
just generic
Moreau.
evil scientist dude.
Dude.
Yo,
but without
he,
the funny Dr. Eggman
i-
design.
inferior doctor because he doesn't have a choir to sing behind him as he conducts surgeries like in Back Arrow.
Yeah, true. He also doesn't have an absolute slapping theme like Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Doofenshmirtz
Dr.
evil
Animated Dr.
Incorporated.
I think by far one of my favorite aspects of this episode is Nori as like he's traveling through the crypt with Vanitas, and he's like, "You make this face. You always make this face. Why? What makes you do this?" And Vanitas is like,
What
"My
face?
face is. I always have a face."
That
like
is goes
and
into-
they do it to each other a couple of times, but the way they frame that shot, whether you're viewing them through the cracks in the wall, and that they're both just like isolated on their own, and now my brain doesn't remember if it's this episode or last episode. I think it's this one, where Vanitas is like, "Working with you will be the death of me," or "Working with people
Yeah.
like you will be the death of me." I'm like,
Oh no. That thing that
But-
happened in the first episode or
but
whatever.
every single time that Nori's like, what's made you make that face every time I see you? It's just you're such a personality, and just once in a while you get so like profoundly serious and disgusted at whatever you're talking about. Like I think the way these two characters bounce off each other is incredible, and this episode
Yeah.
is obviously none the lesser in that regard.
This episode just has more Vanitas X No Way fan fiction. That's all it does.
Also, this episode makes me really like Orchaucer characters here. I think they're funny.
There's
I like
there's
them.
no shot he's gonna stab in the back at the end of this. No shot. No shot. He lets him walk out of here. Like, I don't think you flip a coin on fucking how vampires work in your world just like that.
Nah, see, Noah is different.
They're gonna
Noah's a
share.
bro.
They're gonna share food.
They're gonna kiss.
Probably.
They're gonna drink. They're gonna eat
Uh,
some tarte, whatever, and then they're just gonna be bros.
And then Vanitas will say something stupid and they'll almost get killed and get kicked out.
We also talked about this last week, how we were like, man, I hope they get out of this in a way that makes sense and not like a plot device that really gets them out of it. I know it's just the two characters are just good. Vanitas buys time for Nori's eyes to recover well enough for him to put up his own fight, and then Vanitas goes all Castlevania on
Dude,
this
the Castlevania
episode.
music kicking in the
And
background.
then
was
Yeah.
Noah
so
doesn't
good,
actually
too.
put up any fight and just abuses the fact that Roland's a dumbass, and it's wonderful.
Can we talk about how Roland and Noe make up two halves of a whole idiot sandwich with
Yes.
Vanitas in the middle?
True.
It's
Such is why I want to watch Chainsaw Man.
I'm
Like-
so excited. I'm so ready for Power and Denji.
Darth Maul style of looking
Anyway.
ass. Chasseur.
Yeah, I think this episode's incredible. For me, like, Vanitas by far has been, like, the most consistent show for me. So for me, this is, like, a really hard lock-in for top 3 at this point for me. Like, I think there are other shows that are fighting each other to decide which ones make top 3. What's gonna be my top 3 overall, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I'm not gonna know that till we've watched everything. But to me, this feels like Vanitas has kind of secured itself. It's 12 episodes, right?
There's
Yeah.
just no way he has a bad enough episode to get kicked out next 2
I
weeks.
just can't imagine, right? It would be.
The only show that has 13 episodes is Realist.
Is Realist Hero.
Doesn't Life Lessons also?
Nope.
I thought it did.
Just 12.
Okay. Wow.
I wish it did.
Well, let's talk about Michael. We'll throw the boat. I
Oh,
am
it's Dungeon.
I am shocked. I'm the only one who doesn't have it in last. I knew this was gonna be a coin flip. I'll talk about
I think
that
this
reasoning.
episode was good. I
it
didn't
was okay.
dislike anything this episode did. I
Yeah.
really liked the jokes with him starting the business and then them going, "You're running an illegal business," and he goes, "Fuck, guess I gotta leave." But
Fuck,
you
I'm
know
running a
what?
legal business.
I set her up to make her own business. I really liked that bit.
I also
It was
hated that.
Ninomiya being a dumbass and being an asshole, but also like understanding how setting up businesses works for new people. Also just enjoyed the bit where they're all like, "Yeah, we kind of our group's literally Ninomiya is the glue that holds our entire group together, and it's kind of boring without him. As much as we all fucking hate him, he's kind of neat."
Hey,
He's
you
an
know,
asshole, but at least he gets
you
stuff
know what
done.
hits this point home very hard? The fact that this first chunk of the episode's not that enjoyable when they're just kind of running around looking
It's
for him,
so-
in my opinion.
Boring.
Yeah,
Like,
because
him
the
not
group
being
without
here-
him,
Like, that is the good part, is when they're all like, man, we missed Ninomiya. I'm like, yeah, so do
Which is-
I. When do we get
Which
our-
is crazy
Yeah.
how opposite that was. Like a couple episodes, we're like, man, I hope they get back to the rest of the party. They were really interesting. I don't think it's Neomiya, and I don't think it's the party. I think it's all of it together.
yeah,
That makes
this
it interesting. 'cause,
entire
like,
group of like 6 people has
Yeah.
such good written, such well written chemistry
I agree.
that it's just great to see them all together.
I don't think it's
really-
great
I do
itself, but I think it's
really
alright.
enjoy the dead cow bit.
I
Yeah,
don't get
I
the
don't know
what is
where
the
I
dead
don't know where
cow?
they got the name Dead Cow from,
It's like I
but
just
it's funny as fuck to me. I don't know why.
it's
I-
probably a Red Bull joke because
Probably.
it sounds very
Yeah.
similar to Red Bull.
let's go.
Can
Red Bull.
we talk about the fact that they fucking advertised it with Eagle Talon?
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
god, dude. Okay, so we watched this, and so Mason has no idea what this is, but I've seen this once before.
no, you showed
it's-
it. You showed that video to
I
me
showed you it
before.
because it's in a video called Chakapoco, which is a music video by Nekai Taki, who did the opening for Girlfriend this season. And like that, the Eagle Talon characters, it's like a running like cartoon basically in Japan, I guess. And so like, it was so funny that came up. I was like, I've seen
I
this
had
before. Wait,
seen
I
them
know this.
before, but I didn't know where they were from.
And so and then I looked it up. I'm like, what is this? And I saw Eagle Talon in the description with a bunch of Japanese words, and I was like, must be that. Googled it and was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I'm. Go ahead, Michael.
It's things I did enjoy this episode. I didn't have very many problems with this episode. It's just that it'll come down more to when we talk about life lessons and how fucking wonderful this episode was.
Man, I can't
Yeah.
wait to have a starkly different opinion on that this week, which is unfortunate for me.
That's because
and we
you're
can talk.
incorrect.
I also do agree. I was probably slaying both of these shows this week. I'm being honest with you.
That's fair.
I will be honest. I also like. I do and don't like the Ninomiya bit at the end of the episode where she is like, man, why don't you just like help people legitimately? But also like, I wish they took a little more liberty this episode to make it feel like Ninomiya was helping her. Because it really doesn't. Not at no point does it feel like he's doing anything for her benefit. And even when like he passes the buck to her, it literally feels like he's out where he's like, oh well, it's a good thing I don't run this base of operations and we got an important thing to go do. So good luck with the cops. I'm out of here, homie. And then he just kind of backs up with like a self-fulfilling, like a self-serving prophecy for her of like, you'll do great next time I see you. It'll be good. Like I think it would be totally. I think this episode would have been totally fine if like she reflects on what he did for like the ghost after he does it for the ghost, and then doesn't comment after this for the shopkeeper, because I think it's a much better ending for her to be like, Ninomiya's my hero, and he just walks off. Like
I
I
don't
think
know.
that fits better in my opinion than talking Ninomiya up again for this portion when this one doesn't feel as good as the other one.
See, I don't know how I felt about shorter brown-haired Wiz in this show. That's all I could see when she was on screen. I did like the characters having dead eyes the entire time Ninomiya was doing anything interacting with her. And I like, first off, don't be mean to service people. We try. Please don't be mean to us. Like, we're just humans. Please. So I didn't like that bit, but like I get it. I also like when she's just like, oh no, a customer that wants something. But I don't know. This episode just kind of like was all over the place, and I didn't really get the point of it, right? Because it feels like we're still just like what did this do for the plot? They were in the dungeon, and then they lost Ninomiya, and then they came back to the surface, and then they ran a business for like 20 minutes, and then went, all right, we made you money. Hey, bye. And that was it.
So I imagine like the idea is they want to do this potion selling plot, but they couldn't just skip them to it because they like the potions are important and that ties you to the ghost. So like the idea here is they're using it to build up the party's connection with Ninomiya, which I think does work. But again, yeah, this feels like this is in my opinion the problem with this week as a whole for me, is that like we're on episode 9 for a lot of this stuff, and this is a really these feel like really odd episode 9s for me, because like they don't feel like climax builders. They feel like mid-season builder.
I think Realist feels like a climax builder.
Well, yeah,
for sure.
And we could talk
And
about
then-
Realist.
Sunny Boy's weird because it's Sunny Boy.
Yeah.
Uramichi's weird because it's a comedy. So like there's no like climax in that show. It's just
Yeah,
comedy.
but like our
And then
shows that should be building to
Remake is really
climaxes,
weird.
They're weird this week in my opinion.
Yeah. I'd say like, yeah, half of them are pretty weird.
I think that I don't know. I just feel like I think the reason I also like this over Life Lessons is that I feel like next episode with them going to a floor that's outside is interesting. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I like Danmachi.
Like this is an interesting like closer for them, and like the show has my attention. It always has. I'll get more into why I have this over Life Lessons when I talk Life Lessons for me. kind of hard to talk about these two shows without talking about them together.
Yeah, I liked the bit with the outdoor portion because it reminded me of like the levels that made an Abyss a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know why exactly. That's what it made me think of because
I felt
See,
the
for me,
same
I,
it's
I
way.
went,
funny to
I went
see like
straight to
a completely
Danmachi, dude.
I haven't
uh,
watched
I
Danmachi, so my brain
I
did also
tried it
go.
and couldn't get through episode 1. I
That's
think
fair.
Hestia and main character aren't great in episode 1. It's just kind of
What?
boring.
Hestia's bestia. Ha ha ha.
Haha, she has big titties.
Haha, big booba. Good show. Big booba. Yay.
Dungeon also be like though.
Yay. Booby. I don't know. I just never really liked Dungeon that much as a show. Like, I feel like it doesn't do enough of like
You were the only person I thought
itself,
was gonna have
but-
Dungeon below life lessons this week, and I
Sean,
Life
did you not
Lessons
hear me
was
fucking
funny.
dying while I was
well,
watching
no,
Life Lessons?
no, I did hear you dying when you were watching Life Lessons, which surprised me. But I also drafted that before I heard you dying watching Life Lessons, so I just thought that I knew Dodge was usually a little lower on Dungeon than Life Lessons, and I don't know. I felt like this was a better week, which is why I was interested to see where we go. But
I'm interested to see where it goes, but I'm not like as invested in this plot line because it just feels so like we're not gonna go anywhere to me.
well, they got
I
Because it feels like we've been
enjoyed
kind of
this
been spinning in circles the entire season.
I enjoyed this episode, but I just didn't think it was as good as Uramichi.
I'm very
That
curious to
was-
talk about Uramichi this week.
I am too. Oramichi was great, but we have something in the way.
Mason, we're back to
Yeah.
you again.
So we got everything this episode. We got harem building. We got lore building. We got war building. Shit's happening. It's great. We got the actual answer of yes, Juna is related to the Navy Duke. Her name's Excel Walter, and Juna is her granddaughter.
Is it
Also-
nearly impossible not to say Excel Water?
I think
Is
it's
it
just
just
you.
me? Is it
I
just
think it's
me?
just you.
I always read it as water.
I read it as water,
So-
but I know I say it as Walter.
So, Carmine, the Duke of the Army, totally just wants to put Albert back. Definitely not as a puppet. The Principality of Amadonia guys, definitely not evil. We promise.
We promise.
His daughter's actually decent. She's just kind of money grubbing a little bit. And then also, Soma wanted to unite the military into like one main force to make it an actual fucking military for like a feudal time or like a medieval times
Speed is
army.
important.
And it gave Soma a really good line that I just really loved, which was Carmine is asking him like, well, what happens if we unite the military and you go
It was
mad with
Castro.
power?
Yeah.
Or yeah, excuse me. Castor says, well, what if we unite the military and you go mad with power? And Soma straight up just goes, just come fucking take my head.
Yeah.
What if the center is corrupt and then it's like, all right, then come kill me.
Lycia pulls a Zuko and cuts off her ponytail. And
No, she
leaves the
pulls a
military.
Sakura.
No, she pulls a insert generic.
By
female
that I
character
mean
cutting
she
off their
pulls
hair
a
here.
Serena from Pokemon XYZ.
Okay, but like the Zuko one actually makes sense, and the Sakura one does not.
I argue the Sakura one does and this one doesn't, but we can talk about that.
Okay,
I
so
think the Sakura one works.
I'd
really
argue
well.
long hair is a really disadvantaged thing for a fight at close
True.
quarters. So
okay, so like the reason why I
True.
made the Zuko joke is because the whole thing of Zuko leaving, like disagreeing with what his homeland is doing and swearing off being a part of them and
Yeah.
exiling himself. And it's the same thing with Lycia. With Sakura, it was just she got her hair caught in a fight and needed to get out of someone's grasp.
I always I don't want to get into this discussion because this is like for some reason one of my big sticking points is Sakura discussion.
Sakura's a good character written poorly.
I agree.
She isn't even written
but-
terribly
on,
and original.
moving on.
It's
Yes,
just-
but
yeah.
I like to me. I guess my issue with this scene with Lycia is like I don't know. There's never been any connecting point for me to feel like this action carries weight. Like she could
Yes.
have done anything else.
We
and it
haven't
could've
talked
mattered.
about her relationship with the Duke at
Well, like
all.
I
But
understand she
also,
served
like,
under
what
him.
does a ponytail have to do with the Duke? Like, I know, like, a big thing with, like, Avatar. I'm
It's
pretty sure a lot of the Firebender people have ponytails. That's just,
Well,
like, a
it's
common thing.
it was
partially my
also
prior knowledge and partially just general anime things is I feel like it's not so much that it has to do with the Duke. It has to do with like showing her resolve of like, yes, I
Yes.
care about my looks and my appearances as a princess, but at the same time, I am firmly standing behind the guy I'm simping for.
so as far as I remember too, it's specifically in a Japanese like samurai
Yeah,
etiquette
story.
thing. That's what it is
I
removing your top knot was a sign that you are becoming a ronin.
just
And
feel like this
That's right.
episode lacks, that this moment lacks significant build
As
up
much oomph
or
as it should.
feeling. Exactly. Like for me,
Mhm.
when these scenes usually happen, I'm like, yes, go for it, do it. And here I'm like, okay, I know why. Like I get it. Like I've seen other people do it before. Cool. Um, like I don't like. I feel like it would have been just as impactful for her to give like an actual like heartfelt like speech, conversation, like show of support, especially considering what we know, which is that or Dragon Boy's family thinks she's like being coerced into doing this. Also, man,
Which we find out.
the dukedoms are tied together through blood relation because
Yep.
Excel is the grandmother to his
She is
daughter.
Castor is her son-in-law because one of her daughters married Castor. That is why there's also
Yeah.
a scene where she says very briefly before like they get cut off. She says, "You need to cut ties with these members of your family because they are
Yes.
my family. And when this war goes south for one of us, the rule in place is that 3 generations get executed basically for the family. Not just one, not just
Yeah.
people that caused the issue. It's 3 generations, which is because instead of like 2 we're like 1, which is like what we've had in our history because well, I mean things are living for literally hundreds of years, so just one line isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
I will say I think I definitely this and remake are definitely interchangeable on my list. I probably, if I was in a clearer state of head, would have still put this above remake, which I know I don't do. It probably deserves to be above it. Thinking back on both episodes, I think that I enjoy I enjoy like the first half of this episode, and then we hit the conversation with Soma and what I always forget his name.
Hayuka,
yeah,
Yeah.
Hayaka,
And I feel like
Hakuya.
Hakuya, thank you.
I feel like every time Hakuya talks in this show, I lose interest, and I hate that. I want to like him. I know their conversations are important, but like for whatever reason, I lose like all sense of interest or care for when they talk. And every time they've done it, it always feels like it drags. Like I get the point of the conversation. I'm really glad to like have the explanation of how someone's going to be approaching this conflict. But for some reason, like those moments always drag for me. And then we get into this end half of the discussion with the dukedoms, which I do enjoy. But again, Delicious scene just like doesn't have all the oomph, and that's kind of what Realist feels like for me this week. It just doesn't have all the oomph there that I feel like it should for this kind of episode. I still think the show is incredible, and what it does is still
I
really
feel like
good.
part of that is because it didn't come out of nowhere. Like we knew this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels like we knew exactly how this discussion was going to go regardless. Like and they were trying to convince Castor because you knew Duke Carmine wasn't going to be on board, right? But he's bros with Duke Carmine, so he's like, "Yeah, no, sorry, I can't." It's not that I'm not rethinking this or thinking about it. It's just I have history with the Duke because I know him.
It does
'Cause I've lived
really
for hundreds of
frustrate
years.
me. I understand it. It just I love the
Yeah.
I mentioned I turned the mic on and commented on it when Carmine's like, he just ousted all the king's officials, and I'm like, well, yeah, they're old and bad and dumb.
Mhm.
And Michael even
They're
and Michael
corrupt.
Michael
That's the
even was
point.
Michael even was like, didn't they all also like leave willingly? Like, weren't they all totally down to leave when they finished their work? Like, cause
Yeah, they were like, "Thank fucking God, I can go retire. I'm 80 goddamn years old."
I think I don't know. It feels super fishy to me. Like, it feels super forced that Duke Carmine is causing an issue here. Because you'd think he'd be like a smarter guy for like a big time military general, you know? Like, you
I
think
mean,
he'd be
he
like,
just
this makes sense. He's ousting corrupt nobles and he's getting stuff done. And while I liked Albert, at least this guy's doing stuff that is good for the people.
yeah, but
But
Carmine's just all about tradition
I don't know.
and like, and I understand Carmine's character, and obviously I hate those types of people, so I hate his character, which I think is good because I'm supposed to. For me, like it's just
It just
that
feels like everything we've heard about him though is like he's such a good guy, and it's like he's just an asshole though. Like what the fuck?
I would have liked. I feel like I would have liked some time learning more about the three dukedoms before getting into this conflict
Mhm.
with them. I think it would have been nice to see a little bit like about their people, about them, about like some of the interactions that like we have characters in the sphere who could tell us. It is always nice though when watching this show to go, ah yes, a girl who we can add to the harem. Mark her down. We'll come back to that later.
I like
Uh,
that. It's funny.
it's always good to be able to do that. Also, man, the scene with Admonia,
Amadonia.
Amadonia, thank you.
Amadonna.
Where the I don't remember what his position is, but is it
Oh, the financial
Colbert.
advisor. Financial
is he?
Colbert, the financial. He's the financial.
Where he just walks up and he's like,
leader.
"My king, this is dumb. Why are you doing this?" And they're like,
is really
"I
sad.
don't care." And it's like, wow, you.
They
really...
took some land 50 years ago, and we're gonna get it back. Damn it!
I'm like, damn, wow, you're gonna get murdered. Great, cool, good job, guys.
Military states are good. Military states have good ideas, and like
Mhm.
I get it. They're a military state. They spend all their money on military. They don't give
Yeah.
a fuck about the people. And if you say anything, you're just gonna die. Like we know about Russia in World War II. Most of the Russians were killed by Russia.
The more I talk
We
about
know
this,
about America now.
yeah, the more I talk about this
Easy.
show, the more I talk about this episode, the more I like it. I would want to put it above remake, which tends to be the case sometimes. Not that really changes anything for me, but yeah, I like this episode overall. It's just again, I feel like for an episode 9 as we're closing in, I would like more shows to make me feel like we're on like we're building, and this episode doesn't feel like we're building, which is really
I imagine
odd.
it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen next though, right? Like
Oh,
next
yeah.
episode's gonna be the war, right? The question is just what he's gonna do. The thing I think is interesting, he set a caveat in place. It's like if you capture the commander, war is
Yeah.
done.
Well, I mean,
Right?
he mentions like when he's talking to his advisor, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna end this in one blow. That's the plan." So obviously,
like-
it has to be like 2 blows because he's fighting 2 different captains.
He's actually fighting it's a three-way war because he's fighting.
Well,
I sent you
yeah.
guys the map, right? So he's fighting like central country here. You have Duke Carmine here, bordering Amadonia here, which is like the city of Van, I think. And then there's a big mountain range, and then the land they're trying to take is like down here. And then there's the Castro domain right up here, and then Walter's somewhere over here, like on the coast. So it's like he's got to fight a war here, and over there at the same time, basically.
He'll be fine.
Because Amadonia is not going to fight. They're just going to fucking go straight for the homeland. Like, take the rice fields. Damn it.
I mean, but this is very clearly why he's like, if you take the head, you get the army. You get the remaining amount, because that way he can immediately bolster his troops. Where
I think
needs
he just
to.
doesn't want to kill his own people and draw
Well,
this war
that
out.
too,
Was
but
the biggest
I
thing.
think it's a double play on his part.
Plus we've seen how loyalty is just the biggest fucking thing. Apparently, like, sure we have some defectors, but like for the most part, it's like you're looking at what it's like 40,000 army troops. You have the 10,000 Forbidden Army. I think they said 5,000.
It's 1,000 Air Force.
And 1,000 Air Force, 100 of which are participating, which are effectively 100 units apiece, which is another 10,000 units. So you're thinking 50,000 versus like 25 or whatever. So it's a little. How's he gonna get out of this one? Ugh. Probably some fucking Sun Tzu Art of War tactics that he's gonna mention
Mhm.
and monologue us about. But I mean, I just like it because I know something's gonna happen next episode, so I'm looking forward to that. Because for a while it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. When are we finally gonna resolve this? And then like maybe we'll actually figure out what Hal's dad had to say that one episode a while ago. Like we still haven't covered that, and I feel like I don't know. We'll see.
It's gonna be one of those like drops.
It has to be important, right? It can't just be like
it's gonna be
Duke Carmine's already sided against you.
It's gonna be like the piece of information he needs to win, right? Like that's gonna be like it's something that when we get it revealed to us is gonna be super important for the moment.
Yeah, it's gonna be the major plot point of this arc, probably. Like the moment. But we'll see. I like Hal. I hope we get more Hal and Kaide, which I think we will with the war, because now they're in the Forbidden Army, so now they're under his command, and she's now an officer. So the show's good. I'm gonna watch it right once we get done here because I want to read more.
Good show. I don't know. I enjoy it. I just don't think it was as good as the other things this week. I didn't dislike
That's
any of
fair.
it. I just think the other things did some really good stuff.
I will say it is really hard to sit down and read about Sun Tzu and the Art of War in like a paragraph form. So I just feel like I'm reading the Art of War, and it's really it's a slog in that time. But it's cool.
Life lessons.
Sure,
Life
yeah.
lessons.
Go ahead, guys. Talk about it.
Oh, let's talk about this. So, the thing I said from the start of the show was those damn kids and their interwebs. The Santa bit was really, really good. I really enjoyed the Santa bit.
Terror still believes in Santa.
Uramichi is just a good adult to these poor kids. Was just
And
the most
Kumatani didn't
wholesome
let
thing.
him spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the sales rep, who's just a gothic mesh between original Miyamura from Horimiya and Uramichi. And there was a moment in this episode where he just like is talking. Was it like the kid, right? And then it's just like this super wholesome, like tearjerker moment, and you're waiting for the punchline, and it just never comes, and you're just like, that was just the nicest moment I've seen in anime in a while. It feels wrong here. But then we have it, the Nightmare Fuel Hamburger Helper Birdman toy. And please, Armichi, just d- don't call bingo. For the love of God, please don't call bingo.
And
But
of course,
look-
Usao fucks it up.
those are my notes for the episode though. It's good.
Like that.
I
I-
enjoyed it.
So wow, that's insane to me, right? Because I totally down with the first like 5 minutes of this episode, which are really good. The Santa bit, the kids, and then the entire rest of this episode is introducing the two new staff members and the bingo bit, and I just don't care about any of it.
I didn't
Like,
care about the bingo bit,
The
but I
humor
like the other
does
staff
not
members.
hit me. I don't really care for them. I don't think they're as
That's fair.
good. Like, and again,
And
I
I
you know,
enjoyed the bingo bit 'cause I enjoy callbacks.
seeing them
Yeah.
seeing them again, like maybe like as if we see more of these two, maybe they'll grow on me like the rest of the cast has. But again, like I don't think characters as they appear right away in this show work for me. Like they need time to grow, so I just don't like them yet.
It's more than fair.
Love Kikaku personally, but that's just me.
Kikaku's
Uh,
the
It's the
the
sales
dude who
manager.
he's the one who makes the toys, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed him. I enjoy all the stuff with Uramichi trying to like open up to him, how it's visualized through the heart gate opening, then immediately gets crushed and covered with 3 more doors and locks.
Yeah.
That bit was great.
Also,
Oh,
the bit with like Kumatani switching out Ikateru's drink is just like, what the fuck?
No, you're getting drunk. You'll need this.
Does it even do anything though?
He's-
Do we ever
he's trying to
the
get him
Switch
laid.
punchline?
for an alcoholic
Did
drink.
we
He's
ever
switching
get
for
the-
alcoholic
did we ever
champagne.
get the punchline for that
no,
though?
the punchline is that we know he has really bad alcohol tolerance. This is the
Yeah.
thing we know in the show.
He's trying to get him laid with the president's
we never
daughter.
go back to it though.
Because we don't need to.
I don't know. I feel
Because
like
we already
you
know something
do.
bad's gonna come out of it.
I just don't feel like I don't think the switching of the drink in itself is funny. Like I don't like this is my problem with like and maybe it's because I'm sick, so like my sense of humor is even more gone than it usually is. But like I don't know, like this whole end half I just did not care, which is unfortunate because I really liked the stuff at the beginning with the kids. I really enjoy, like I enjoy this show a lot when it does the things that I think it's good at. So I mean like it seems pretty likely we're watching another episode of this, which is like cool, fine. I hope it has a good week next week, but for me, I just don't.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
didn't
fair.
care this week. It was a missed mark. It's why the show can't possibly make top 3. Just too often, it misses. Like it's hit or miss for me.
I think that's fine. Like that's just part of comedy. Like I'm not gonna expect everyone to share the same taste every episode on comedy. I just think I'm just glad to have had one that actually is kind of funny sometimes. It's the small
Yep.
victories I gotta take in life. I think this one hits the bill for comedy though, personally. Like
Yeah.
it does enough. Like
I like the thing with Utano, the callback or whatever. I think that is something we saw with the meat ad, and I like how she's still trying to fix this absolutely broken relationship that should not be functioning.
I like the bit where they're like looking at them as like potential partners, like, oh man, I thought there was a chance. I heard there was someone cute here. Damn it.
Damn, he's
Unlucky.
an asshole. He's a
Uh,
weeb.
Weeb, no. What about your glasses? He broke them when we had a conversation.
I also really like something with this episode. I think this episode had a different like director behind it because the faces this episode were consistently like the blank faces with like the full black eyes.
Yeah.
I thought every one of those was wonderful, but that's
I
not
did,
a thing
I
we've
did
seen
like
before.
that. I did like that a lot this episode.
Like
I will give that.
every fucking time Uramichi made that face, I was like, that could have been a fucking screenshot for this episode. I actually haven't been looking at screenshots. What is the one you got for that?
Yeah, just like
Good.
the
Yeah, like that face right
the
there.
one punch
Yeah.
the One Punch Man face.
Yeah,
as I
just
call it.
the very blank kind of thick pupils.
I
It's a
enjoyed
good
it.
time.
It's a good show.
Funny time.
Time for
Right.
a conversation. Michael,
Con-
it's remake. We all
Yes,
literally just watched this. I'm pretty sure because it.
Probably.
Came out today.
I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I don't know. I enjoy characters breaking down when they realize their mistakes. I think that entire bit with him going onto YouTube, seeing Nanako not being a music creator that only has 1,000 followers or had 1,000 followers, him looking up
Can't even find Tsuruyuki.
yeah, Tsuruyuki can't even find Tsuruyuki's
He
pen
finds
name.
like a Tumblr blog.
Yeah, an empty Tumblr blog, and hearing that Shinowaki doesn't do art anymore, and how that fucking breaks him, and him like falling into the trash and stuff was. I don't know. I really enjoyed that entire like bit. I think his daughter's fucking adorable, and I can't wait for her to be revealed to be the new god that's watching over him. That's what God Lolly's turned into.
I
It's
I
gonna be
don't know
a
how I feel
moment.
about the fact that like everyone had a worse life, including Kawasagawa, who he mentions has like a tier below where she was. Like she's at
I
at
thought
the
the idea that
second.
she was a tier above.
No,
No,
she's
No.
at
it's
the
a
she's
company.
she's at the second best company now and a lower position.
Yep.
She was at the highest game
Yeah.
company last time.
Oh, I thought she was in like a really shitty game company before because
Mm-mm.
like
No,
she got
he was.
literally
No,
fucking
she's in the
kicked out.
game industry, which is a really shitty industry unless you work for Supergiant, where they're actually really good game developers and actually
she
encourage people to
scouts
take
him
time off.
into a much better working environment.
Well,
in the
yeah,
original
but
timeline.
I thought the working environment they went into was still a really shitty one because their super big project with the Platinum Gen got shut down.
But
Which
yeah,
means
it
they're
was
not that
still
big of a
shitty.
company, in my
but the fact that they were
opinion.
doing
No.
that project,
No,
with
it's still
Platinum Gen
game dev. It's
showed
just yeah.
they like their team got shafted, which is unfortunate.
He directly
but-
mentioned that. That's why I'm mentioning it. Like he
Yeah.
mentioned like, okay, she was at the biggest game company and
Yeah.
also is now a tier lower.
Yeah, I guess I just read that part wrong. I
Yeah.
thought it was the other way around.
Mhm.
That she was in a better position, and that was the only person who ended up in a better position out of it.
No, but she
That
does end up.
wasn't him.
Now I will say she does end up in a better position this episode, and here's why: because he's gonna realize he can't be with Shinoaki because that kills her ambition, so he's gonna have a best girl. Boom, she's in a better position already for best girl race.
True.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Like it's a win-win for me over
I
here.
don't know what this show's gonna do for its
You
last
don't.
couple episodes, and like that's
Yeah,
which is
always
good.
been the
Still
thing.
don't.
I think I'm worried about time for it.
Yes, that is my biggest worry
Like
too.
I don't, I am
3
concerned with
episodes.
how this
I
show
don't worry about
wraps.
shows ending.
I've been in this boat too many times.
I watched
before.
Wonder Egg.
You've been in this boat once, Sean, and it was Wonder Egg.
Somali.
I mean,
I
I
will say-
guess.
I will say
There's
with
been,
the
enough,
remake
there's
art
been
life.
enough other shows on this podcast where like I've been worried about the time it has for its ending and what I want it to
Sh-
do.
Shoutouts for Kyoya for having like a charisma stat of fucking 20, dude. By the way, at all times, in all
Yeah.
generations, and just understands how people function. Like that's hard to do.
So the
But yeah.
the artist who they meet for his company, she's just doing Shinoaki's art, right? That's
Yeah.
that bit because that's the
He
piece that
idolized
Yeah.
her. all-
The
Yeah.
idea is that her idol was Akishima Shino,
Yeah,
but they don't directly say it. But you can very clearly tell that's
I was
her art
I was
style.
pretty
She
sure.
was doing
I
it-
was just double checking.
She was doing it in her style, basically,
I don't know.
even though it
Yeah.
wasn't her normal style.
I like this week for the show. I also just feel like last week was stronger, so much stronger that like this week kind of like
Yeah,
lulls a little, which is fine.
Yeah.
it's hard to pop last week though.
I
like
guess I just would have liked more from this episode for what it's doing in its time period. I feel like there's a lot of like him going, "I'm gonna have to talk to someone about this," and he never does.
or then he
Well,
like
Who's he
walks
gonna fucking talk to?
and he
I-
takes time to walk the
Oh,
place.
I would like him to talk to someone if that's what he's hoping to try to do. Like his whole point is he wants to figure things out, and he just winds up doing it on his own. So at that point, like, I feel like he should have got the information we get mid episode a little earlier, and then he should have like talked to with the characters the way he like this episode feels a little out of order, not enough to like make it hurt. It's just I don't know. This episode again, episode 9. I guess I wanted more. I just felt like it's a flat episode for me. It doesn't do enough.
I
to
think it was just
really-
very slow and like
yeah.
we didn't get any like progression. It feels like it just feels like he's just exploring this new reality and going, well, fuck, this sucks, and we're like, yeah, we know, um, which I think is okay, but it's like I also just wanted more from this episode. It felt like it was a little bit short for me, and like I just feel like I
That
have
was the
no
thing. By the time
I
I
have
got to the end of this episode, I was like, oh, it's over. Fuck.
I just like I wanted more. Like, I want to have an idea of what we're like going to do because I have no fucking idea what's. Obviously, he's gonna go back, right? Right, guys? Like, right?
Hear
Maybe.
me out, right? Hear me out. Like his whole point is like, man, this is real bad for Tsurayuki and Nanako, and probably worse for Kanasagawa. But like, like even though Shinoaki's not doing art, like it doesn't seem like she's unhappy.
That's
here,
not a bad life.
right? Like
Yeah.
exact. Like I don't know. Like I feel like the show's also missing like he hasn't even checked in to see what the others are doing. Just because they're not following their passion doesn't.
I mean, he
mean
doesn't have any
that-
contact with them.
which I feel
the
is
issue.
weird.
It's been
I assume-
12 years this time in the future.
Yeah, I assume the idea is that like his thoughts with like at least for some of them is like Tsurayuki, if he didn't go into writing, is either dead or he's like a lawyer / doctor now, which we knew he didn't want to do.
Or he's just like working a 9 to 5 and like failing his parents or
But like,
something.
I feel like the show would be so much more compelling, and if we see that, because like then that gives him reason to go back. Like, sure, nothing's the way he wanted it, but like I don't know, things can technically still be viewed as fine. Like, I think it would be nice to see some like positives of like, well, these people are still doing good, but these people have it really bad. That's a good reason for me.
Here's
to
my
go
thing:
back.
is, would he have like the phone number of a guy who he hasn't talked to in 12 years at this point?
But I also feel like
'cause
someone has
who
to,
knows?
right? Like,
I guess, but like,
it shouldn't be like I feel like it's like from the way they talked, it sounds like him, Nanako, and Shinoaki still work together for the rest of their time at college. Like,
I feel like that's
he's
just a
still-
hard conversation for him to like find and bring up, though. Like at the same time, like because he's still just like shell shocked as to what's going on.
Yeah, and it's the idea is that the idea is it's also weird for him to be bringing up these things now.
He also has to work too.
But they also
Like,
don't have to do it that way. Like I know it's a cliche, but they could very easily do fucking now I can't think of the story. They could do a Christmas Story style with this. They really could of just have God Lolly show him so that he understands.
like
I'd
he's a
be
ghost.
fine with that.
Yeah,
Like just let him see. Like
That'd be
I just
interesting.
kind of want more than what it's doing, and I hope it does. I hope it bounces back from this week because I do really like the show. It doesn't make it a bad show again by any means.
yeah, I agree. I think I hope next episode's a little bit more involved in what's going on. But yeah, any other
Mason?
thoughts for you guys, Mason? Anything?
No, not really. You guys kind of went over pretty much everything that I thought about the episode.
I think his daughter's adorable.
Yep.
Hey, Daddy, you said I need to eat all of my food. Why the heck you only eating that toast? And he's like,
Hey.
oh,
Also,
It's
like,
my-
but also calm down. The man's working on his toast. Let him eat his toast.
hey, let it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
gotta
like,
finish his
Who
toast.
chews toast for 12 seconds?
I do. Okay.
You firmly like chew your toast until it's
You
back
tell
into
me you
grain.
don't finish an entire piece of toast in like 5?
Seconds.
You've watched
Shit.
me eat.
True, because if you were to eat it in 5, you'd
I
explode.
He eats,
die.
he eats like a rabbit. Where he's just like,
I do.
or a sloth, where he's just chewing, or panda. I guess it's
Yeah.
panda. Yeah,
Buttered toast is legendary.
Well,
10 out of 10.
toast is good.
I will
Buttered
say
toast, but with peanut butter. on it.
Buttered toast.
I will say
Five Nights at Freddy's.
color me surprised
Exotic
um,
buns.
with this being as low as it is for most people because I think I really like this episode of Sunny Boy. Dodge, feel free to.
I'm be honest, I was fucking lost like through this entire episode. This is like
There
I've
was a
been lost a lot of times, but like there was a lot going on in this episode. I was just like, like the dial-up tone just was not answering. Like fax wasn't coming through. Like so we have Mizuho trying to train her dog human, who we got a name for her again, which is Yamabiko.
We've
I
had
think?
it for a bit now.
Yeah, but I forget, so I call him Doggo. Or Inu-kun.
Not a me
Um,
dog.
Yeah, no,
Naughty
good. So
dog.
Nozomi didn't come with them. They're on like
Naughty.
this 2-week journey, and then the dog, he explains what his story was and thinks back 5,000 years when he was just an isolated kid, similar to our main character, who ended up being in love with this girl who always smiled. Now, how did he get there? Well, he was a traveler. He was just traveling between different worlds somehow, I guess. And he ends up in this world where there's this girl, right? That he wakes up in the water covered in like seaweed, and they pull him out. And so in this world, she can direct all things in the hope of the people because she can like do anything basically. She's like our Amakaze, right? To a
Latte.
degree. That one. And however, suddenly people could become ill with this epidemic, this disease, where like these red like stones are like growing on them, right? And you feel for this girl the entire time, but you feel like something's off because so she's like basically like the saint of this world, but when things go bad and she can't fix it, everyone starts to turn on her just like everyone would. Um, and so like his logic is like he eventually stopped looking at her as much because she was too bright for him as a person. Like she was his son. Um, and so like these tumors end up killing everybody. And we have another character, M, who appears and he's got all these medals, right? And a gun. And
It's not
so
his. No,
what?
M
He called
wasn't
himself
his.
M.
No, M was her power.
Oh, M was her power, that's right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
his
I can't
name
read.
is War,
His name was
right?
War, that's right. So we have War
Because
who
he's
comes
one of the
in.
4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Is the
Yeah,
idea?
exactly.
Yeah, that's what we meant to do. And so he basically explains that because Kodama's or Yamabiko, our dog coon, his power apparently was. Let me see if I can read this right again. To bring a different world to here because whatever he thought of would become existence or something like that is
He
like
had
the
the
idea.
power
I
to
think.
materialize what was in his head.
Yes, and somehow he brought this scarred world to this world. He brought another this world here, which then basically manifested in this world and caused mental illness to become real illness. And the reason why he was the only one that wasn't effective, I didn't really get an idea. I figured it was like because he's like a shut in, so he himself doesn't develop the illness. Like so he like it develops when you get worse off mentally, and because it spirals, because once you get it, it gets worse off mentally. It's bad, but like for some reason he doesn't develop it. I wasn't really sure why. Um, but effectively, like War is like, yeah, no, this is your doing, and all you had to do was just leave with her, and it would have been fine. And he's just like super sad because he never got up the courage to just leave because he didn't want to like risk losing the happiness he had there, I guess. We also got Pouting Nozomi because time worked differently as they were traveling through these different worlds, basically. So like Nozomi was expecting them to be back in 2 weeks, and it had been 2 weeks for them, but it had been like a month for her. And we got a pouting face, which is really pog. And I guess she just wanted some time off. I was worried she was just gonna be gone for a bit, but she just needed a breather, I guess.
Also
But yeah.
learned that
Oh yeah, War's trying to kill God. By the way,
we
Well,
also
yeah, everyone
learned
is.
that Yamabiko, the reason why he just randomly showed up was when the island caught on fire in like episode 3. He was in that big tree that was on fire because
it's the same
a
island.
tree because it's the same island. And when the girl Kodama died, a tree sprouted in her place, and he just laid there for 5,000 years
Mhm.
at her grave.
Yep. And yeah, this is a weird episode. I didn't know how to feel about it. Like Kodama is a weird character where it's like I didn't know if she was like a good person or a terrible person, and you couldn't really tell. And we're never gonna know. She's fucking dead now. But I don't. It's like I don't feel like I understood like the powers that they had too well. It was just kind of like whatever they want is what it felt like to
Yeah,
me.
Kodama's power was very weirdly
They were
explained.
like the respective gods or hosts of their worlds, basically. Is how
Yeah,
it felt to me.
it sounded like she had the Asakaze type power. She could just do whatever the fuck she wanted, but like
Mhm.
also to a point where she could go between worlds.
Well, no, 'cause she doesn't leave, does she?
She
He
doesn't,
wanted to.
but at the
Yeah.
beginning it shows the same visual as them
She creates a
using
visual.
the arc to go through worlds.
Yeah,
Yep.
but there's still. I mean, like, so like the
The
whole
whole
idea to me is that she has the ability to say this and this happens, right?
well, so kind of.
Yeah.
From what I was getting of it, it was she had the ability to direct, to tell something to do something, and it would do it.
Yeah.
And that so the reason why the whole point of it was that she wanted to leave, and she kept like implying that she wanted to leave with Yamabiko, but he was like, "No, you're so great. Like, why would we need to
This place
leave?"
is great.
And that kept making her mental illness spiral and spiral because she
Everyone else is dying.
because everyone else was dying, and she also felt he thought too highly of her or something, and didn't think that, or something like she
Self-esteem
thought,
issues.
yeah, self-esteem issues basically.
He thought that if he left, something bad was gonna happen to her, or she was just gonna leave him. Basically, I think is what
Yeah.
I got too out of it. I don't know. It's hard because it's just like it's so open ended. Like this episode especially was like super 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 just like I don't know. What'd you think happened? You know. And the answer is I don't know what the fuck
I
happened. I'll be honest.
I really enjoyed it because I like this small little vignette inside of our story as the characters are going. And I don't think the show would tell us this if it isn't important in some regards. So again, I think this is
Mhm.
building for our main character to connect because there are clearly some connections straight to him and Nanami Dog.
So keep going. I'll
Nah,
go after you.
I was just gonna say, like, I think there are some direct comparisons between the two of them and his story and Nozomi and
Yeah, I definitely drew
Nagara.
Nanami knows me.
Nagara. So
Yeah,
like
Nagara.
I think like it's an important like there are important lessons he wants to convey to them while also setting up that we have kind of these important characters who at least war. Whether or not we see the rest of them will be a question, and whether or not he comes back will be a question too. Because I mean, they could just have this for the sake of the story and not use it. I think that'd be a shame. Um,
I agree.
just
Yeah.
because they've set up the Four Horsemen kind of thing, and I think it'd be interesting to engage with them. But also, again, time. Um, I don't know. I really like this
Um,
story. It hit me on like I thought it was a very well told emotional story, even if not all the things made sense to us. For me, that's kind of been the way this show has been. So
so I honestly I really enjoyed this episode. Um, and I'm kind of surprised it didn't hit me more because this whole episode was filled with the very almost horror imagery that
yeah,
I love, and I don't know why I wasn't a bigger I didn't like it more, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I just like it was really good. It's just to be honest, I think probably it was just after coming off the back of watching Realist 2 nights ago, and then watching Vanitas right before. Um, I think I just enjoyed the high energy of Vanitas more than
sure.
the oh, this is not going to end well. It's
Yeah.
probably too because we had just gotten off of watching Violet Evergarden, and my emotional batteries are drained from that.
Sorry.
Because I personally really liked the
Dichotomy.
hey, what do you think of me segment
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
he's like averting his eyes slightly. He's trying his hardest to keep eye contact, but obviously it's difficult. It's like,
Mm.
oh, I like your hair, like your eyes, and then
Voice,
as it
no.
says that, it cuts to her the one eye that's
That
been
was
overtaken by the
That
so
tumors. The
fucked
good.
with
dark red
me.
eye was oh
No, it's crazy because in that scene, he's still able to look at her straight on, right?
Mm.
It is after that point that he starts looking away because she's too bright. Because she keeps trying to help these people, even though like she could just leave, even though she could do something else. She feels like she needs something to pull her away from this, and he never does that for her, right? And she's okay with that, right? She like
yeah,
she would not let him grow without him doing it himself, which I think is like honestly something that could happen in remake too. That's like kind of a lesson we're learning. Is like sometimes you have to let people grow on their own, right? And if it doesn't happen, sometimes it won't happen. Whereas like in this case, she doesn't know it's not going to happen. In remake, we know it does happen, right? Without him in the story, they do grow as individuals. Whereas here, we're like he didn't grow for 5,000 years.
Mm.
That's what it feels like.
I like a lot of the things, the small things this episode does. Again, we have the reoccurring symbolism of the bird appearing again in this episode, which again ties us to Nozomi and Nagara. We had never really gotten the explanation of why is he a dog. This episode kind of gives us that reasoning of
Why did he become a dog? I don't
well,
get that.
symbolically, he's doing what dogs do. He's staying loyal to a person who's like given him something and is not like straying away from her. Like we don't have an actual like in reason why he turns into the dog, but like thematically why they've chosen to make him a dog I think makes sense with his story.
Did she turn him into the dog, or he turned
Yeah,
himself
the
into the
idea is
dog?
that she probably like subconsciously said be like made like the command to
Be
be
my
my
guiding
dog or
dog.
something,
I mean,
and then
perhaps, or
boom.
it's something he did. It with the way their
Yeah.
powers are, it could
could
have
go
been
either
either of
way.
them.
Also,
Yeah.
with the way this world's work, it's like, oh, he's acting like a dog. We'll make him one,
I also really
and then it
appreciate.
made him one.
I also really appreciate that the worlds he just travels through when he's traveling are really cool visually.
Yeah,
The fact that he basically just
Bone
walks
World.
through Sukuna's domain is kind of rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bone World's
He
pretty
just
cool.
lays down in the
He-
bones and then gets
The
suffered.
scene where they're on the raft and she just makes a spout full of soup, like that's a really nice scene, and it's very
The-
reminiscent of the dock scene with Nagara and Nozomin.
The thing that got me was they did it twice in this episode, was the eye closing. That cinematography was just so cool to me, where like he lays down on the bones and then it does the eye close
then it
vertically
cuts.
and then it
Yeah.
cuts, and then when he finishes the story it closes horizontally and then cuts.
Because
John, I have a question.
Mhm.
Did you watch this on the TV or did you watch this on your like your computer? with
I watched it
headphones?
on my computer.
Okay, because I think this episode is completely like part of this episode is ruined if you're not watching with headphones because the one really big backing
Yeah.
track in the first like 8 minutes only works if you have
Yep.
headphones you can hear left and right.
I know. I really
It was
I need to
amazing.
go back. I need to go back and check it out myself because my headphones. I wasn't using these. I was using my earbuds, and my earbuds I don't get left.
This
on.
show is
Oh,
definitely like
I
the
was-
best,
Fucking
the best
I
sound
don't think I
design
noticed
I've seen in
that.
a
I'll have
yeah,
to-
no,
I'll have to
the
check
audio
it
goes
out.
the audio rapidly shifts
Nothing
back
else.
and forth between the two ears like the main part. just
I never
Oh.
noticed it
rapidly
either.
shifts.
I'll
And the
have to
idea is
check
it,
it out again.
it's supposed to increase the idea of like this is some wild fucking shit that they don't know what they're doing right now because this is like as the tumors start is when it starts playing.
One of our
I'll
shows
check
this
it
week,
out.
one of those shows this week, and it might have been Sunny Boy, had a really, really soft, or it could have been a show from the other side podcast, but something I watched this week had a really soft backing track that was really good.
Sunny Boy had some very good backing
My
tracks.
brain wanted to say it was Sunny Boy this week.
I think
Say
Sunny Boy's
remake
really
also
good
had
this
some
week.
good ones, but
I
I don't know.
I don't know, just the moment where I used the screenshot because I like it so much. Just a shot of him in the white void with the sapling, which then again immediately switches to him in while the tree's on fire. Like
Mhm.
I really enjoyed this episode for all it's worth, even if like some of it doesn't make sense to me. Some of this show just doesn't make sense to me though, so I can just
Like,
kinda,
how does that
pass.
how
the
does that
buck.
tree grow? Is my question. Like,
Well,
this
he
world's
can-
supposed to be a stasis, isn't it? No, I guess this island isn't. It's the school that is. So never mind.
Yeah.
Or the school basically like crashed into this world that is the island.
I'm curious
guess you
to
could
see.
say.
I'm curious to see where a lot of our shows go.
Yeah.
Again, I think knowing that Phineas is slated for a second season and that it's gonna end on 12 this season makes me feel the most confident in it having a clean finish. Realist also I think has an edge for me over like Remake because I feel more comfortable that I'm gonna enjoy
Yeah.
its ending. Whereas
think-
like Remake and Sunny Boy, I'm a little worried between like which one and how they're gonna end.
I can agree with that for sure. Because Realist having 13 volumes of light novel, and we're currently somewhere in volume 2 at this point, by the way. Like, we just hit volume 2 with this
Yeah.
episode. Is like, oh, there's a lot of shit that happens. And-
I also
yeah.
think that we're gonna be very close. By the time we decide top 3, we'll literally have to watch one episode, I think, of everything else, and then two
Two
of
of,
Realist if it's
Realist.
around. So like that's why I think this matters is because by the time we're deciding top 3, like
Yeah.
we'll have a better idea of
Like-
if we think it's gonna end in a good way, and that matters a lot for us when deciding order of top 3, or it has.
And again, not this week coming up,
Yeah.
but the next week is going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah,
Like-
deciding from top 4 to 3 is gonna be probably one of the hardest weeks we've had.
Yeah.
I can tell you this week is not difficult at all. There are 2 Slaves on Life Lessons and 4 on Black Company.
Ooh.
What?
So goodbye,
Sure.
Black Company. I will probably finish it out, and I'm probably gonna go back and finish a couple of other
Yeah,
things this
Finished my
season.
company. I thought I was done.
I will
go
finish
for
Black
it.
Company. It was enjoyable. I I know I put a slate on both just to see if we could put it to the wheel. So
I was tempted, but I was like, eh.
I was tempted, but I was like, I enjoy one of these shows, so I can't do that to myself. Like, if I objectively enjoy the show, I can't slay it. Like, that'd just be dumb.
Yeah, I'm excited
Although I did
to
agree when it was
see
time for some shows.
where Black Company goes. Most likely this is Life Lessons unless one of these shows like has a super major drop off point. But even
Or
then,
Life
I don't
Lessons
know.
is super fucking funny.
I think it's very difficult for it not to be Life Lessons next week. But
Yeah, I
you know,
agree.
there's always a chance, I guess.
Shouts to Mason, by the way, still running strong
Yeah.
with 2 of them, right? And then Michael has 1 and I have 2.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, because
I,
you were
don't- yeah,
saying
'cause I
when
lost my second today.
Yep. So
Satch. 07s.
soon you'll be joining. Soon one of you will be joining me. Probably, maybe. There's also the
Spoilers.
chance that all of you are gonna have top threes. So
It'll be interesting. Like,
it'll be interesting.
oh man, I really like Realist just in terms of its design and from what I've read. Like, it made me love the show even more for like how well it's doing at following it, right? So I also appreciate when like you read a light novel and you're like, wow, this was like really well done in terms of how they adapted it. The only thing that sucks is I can't read more, and I also can't like I can't let what happens in the anime distract me from what I've read. If that makes sense, right? Like, I have more details and information that you
Mhm.
guys don't about stuff that happened, and like
Yeah.
scenes are framed differently. Like, Poncho is a middle aged guy instead of like looks like a 20 something, which they don't really tell you that. Um, and things like that. It's good. Certain character relationships are wonderful too.
cool.
Yeah. Not a shocking week this week. I'm
No.
excited for more reading. If I want to stick around and watch Realist Hero,
I have to
be
go.
doing that.
I
you
gotta
have to
go
go
to
to bed.
bed. I have
Time
work
is-
in 10 hours.
Well, yeah, I should get to bed too soon.
Enjoy.
I won't, but like I should.
I have to go make another cup of tea to try to not die.
Oh, it does sound good.
Good luck, Sean.
Yep.
Good luck, Sean. Please don't die.
I'm also probably gonna get tested on Tuesday because I don't think
Let's
they're gonna have it up just to make
go,
sure.
Vid.
I'm,
sure.
I'm vaccinated. I'm masked when I go in places, but you never know. And I just had someone who just graduated from campus tell me that they're vaccinated, they've been masked, they got really congested, and they got tested,
Hi.
and they were
Variants
positive.
exist.
So yeah, I'm not worried because I don't feel that bad. But perhaps that's the vaccine actually doing its job. And I really hope I'm not because that'd be problematic considering Michael had marching band today at a football game.
Yeah, and Sean I didn't know anything about Sean being sickly until I got home.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was literally I've only been congested, and that's all it's been. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not really worried too much, but we'll see. Hopefully things will go well tomorrow night, and it'll be the 4 of us on, without Jokage, and everything will go good, and we'll vote, and it'll probably be detective. I'm just gonna be upfront with that. Which like
Or goddess.
I wish, I hope. On the bright side, that show eventually has to go because it has 10 episodes, so it actually won't even be able to make it to the final without us having seen all of its stuff.
That's kind
It's
of funny, actually.
It's really funny.
Cool.
I just don't want to sit that long on it. I'll be honest, its past episode wasn't as bad because there's like less moments with the kids, but it's still terrible. I don't want to watch it. Yeah. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us. We'll close out stream.
Peace.